What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We had a smack-tastic of a Smackdown. Yes, a stacked Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen, where we got the stipulation of the Universal Championship match at Royal Rumble determined. We also saw ourselves seeing a banger of a match between Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. And we also saw Adam Pearce, okie doke, Roman Reigns. Yes, he did. He hit him with a wham. Ladies and gentlemen, so you already know what time it is. I'm Kevin Jones, the Disciples of Wrestling, and let's get down to it. So, starting off this episode of Smackdown, we start off with Roman Reigns sitting in his tribal chief chair, you know what I'm saying? Sitting tall, where he's looking at the contract for the Royal Rumble match between himself and Adam Pearce for the Universal Championship. And homeboy don't look happy. We see Paul Heyman whisper in this man's ear, where he's really selling himself fearing Roman Reigns. And it's really an interesting twist with, of course, Paul Heyman's lineage as a manager for talent. But you see, Roman's really not liking the structure of the contract. And Paul is like, this is just a regular contract that they give to everyone, every single pay-per-view. They just change up the names that are on the contract. And as you can tell from Roman's face, he ain't liking all that. So Paul said, let me go to Adam Pearce, get this revised, and I'll bring it back to you. Right after that, we get the Uso with the juice. We see Jey Uso go out. And he's talking and he's cutting a great promo. And that's the thing that I like about Jey. Ever since this Roman feud, he has really stepped up his promo game. And he letting everybody know, thank Roman. Everything that is going on for the positive solution, Roman done did it. And now the bloodline about to stretch across the entire WWE, because Jey just said that he's declaring himself not only for the Royal Rumble, but he's declaring himself to win the Royal Rumble. And he declares himself to beat either Drew McIntyre or Goldberg for the WWE Championship. Yeah, I said Goldberg because that's what he said. Well, he also talked about how Shinsuke Nakamura finna get the wham because he thinks that he gonna do something to Jey since he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time when they wanted Adam Pearce to win that gauntlet match last week. Well, Shinsuke, he don't want to hear no more. So he comes out, and your boy got his old theme song. Yes, sir. It's looking like we're seeing a full-out babyface Shinsuke Nakamura as he comes out. And, of course, we see him with a microphone. But he didn't talk long. He just let Jey Uso know, if Roman's the big dog, that means you the puppy, bro. So we go straight to it. We get ourselves a match right after commercial break, where we see Shinsuke Nakamura is really dominating this, doing his things with his legs and his feet, kicking the mess out of Jey Uso across this ring. And then we see the surprising return I wasn't expecting, especially during the middle of this match, where we see Cesaro coming down, and he's showing support for Shinsuke Nakamura, and then he goes straight to the commentary table, where Michael Cole asked him, hey bro, why didn't you have your man's back? He goes, you know how long the stadium is. If I would have tried to make my way over there, I wouldn't have made it for the rest of the show. I would have been late. So that's his excuse. But we see Jey Uso start to climb up back into this match. And ultimately, we see Jey go for the big Uso splash, but Shinsuke ends up reversing this. Shinsuke goes for the Kinshasa. Jey to super kicked him. We see Jey Uso go for a pin, but he goes to the ropes. The ref does count the 1, 2, 3, but the ref also notices that his feet were on the ropes. So Jey gets all up in his face. Shinsuke goes for a roll-up into the Kinshasa for the win. Next up, backstage, we see Sonya Deville talking to Adam Pearce. She's going down this man's resume saying, hey, you might have a good chance, at least a better chance than you thought against Roman, especially seeing what you've done. And Adam's like, I haven't wrestled in 5 years. It's not looking too good for me. And we see Paul Heyman interrupt them as they're talking, where he says, all right, we made some changes. It's looking like it's going to be a no disqualification match. Adam Pearce ain't too happy about that. But in the spirit of the whole thing, since Roman wants what Roman wants, he signs a contract and he gives it back to Heyman. And Heyman said he's going to go get Roman to sign it. And next up, after the commercial break, we see Roman Reigns sitting down tutoring Apollo Crews. And this is really to capitalize off of what happened last week on Talking Smack, when Paul Heyman told Apollo flat out, hey bro, you're talented. You can win championships. But that good guy thing right there, gots to go. So we see Roman Reigns breaking it down to Apollo. It's all about the control, brother. The control. And we see actually Paul Heyman come back to approach Roman with the contract. Let's Roman know that it is officially a no DQ match. Roman said, I ain't signing this, bruh. I didn't agree to this. I want a last man standing match. So we see Paul Heyman take the contract back, and Roman goes, can we consider that done? And Heyman goes, it will be done. So the next match we see is Natalya accompanied by Tamina versus Liv Morgan accompanied by, of course, Ruby Riott, and apparently the new member of the Riott Squad, Billie Kay. Yeah, baby. And we're seeing a nice technical match starting off with, of course, Liv Morgan's athleticism and Natalya's technical ability. I mean, this was just chemistry as soon as the bell rung. It was a great little go-ahead between these two where Liv Morgan gets a little bit of an edge, but eventually Natalya knocks her down, letting an overwhelming Liv Morgan with her technical ability and the aggression that Natalya has. And we start to see Liv start to kick back into this match, but we also see outside the ring that Billie Kay has came off of commentary and she's now ringside, but she's making too much noise ringside, where she goes over to Tamina's side while she's supporting Liv, and Tamina ain't having it. So Tamina starts to follow Billie Kay, and Billie Kay is just terrified. So she runs into the ring, effectively distracting both Liv Morgan and Natalya as she runs across the ring, in between them two, might I add. And of course, Natalya capitalizes off of this for the win, and Liv and Ruby are not happy about this. And I want to see where this is going, because this is starting to get really repetitive, and I want to see this just culminate for an ending. So our third match of the night, it is King Corbin versus Rey Mysterio, where Rey is accompanied by his son Dominic. Dominic goes over to commentary, and Corbin is making light work of Rey Mysterio, boy. He is just beating him up. He's beating him up so bad, he's taunting Dominic while he's beating him up. He goes outside the ring and pushes Dominic down, and while he's beating up Rey outside, and then he goes back in, he's beating up his dad inside the ring, called Dominic nothing but a cheerleader. He throws Rey back outside the ring, and he's beating up Rey, and Dominic's standing up this time. He like, I'm not hearing this. So they get face to face. Baron throws Rey back in the ring. We see Dominic get face to face with this man, and he rocks him. As in Baron Corbin then dropped Dominic, then slept my homie. So he goes in, they're going back. Baron Corbin's starting to beat Rey Mysterio back, but Rey's starting to get some offense in. But Dominic said he ain't having this. My man's done disrespected my family long enough. So he's starting to get in the ring, but Rey Mysterio's stopping him. As Rey stops him, we see Baron Corbin get Rey and go straight to the end of days for the win. Next up, we saw the debut of the talk show critically acclaimed Ding Dong Hello by Bayleys. Yes, Bayley got herself a little talk show, and her first guest is none other than the EST of WWE, Miss Bianca Belair. And of course, the first thing Bayley asked was, where did this EST thing came from? And she said it's been a nickname of hers since she's been growing up. But of course, we see Bayley is quick to this boy, where she starts dogging Bianca Belair for losing to her in their match a few weeks ago. And Bianca said, hey, you want to really do this? We can do this rematch. And Bayley was like, actually, we can do ourselves the ultimate obstacle course. And Bianca like, girl, you don't want to do this to yourself. If you really want to do this, I'm all for it. So next week, we will be seeing Bayley versus Bianca Belair in Bayley's constructed ultimate obstacle course. I'm interested to see how this one's going to play out next week. Now for our third match of the night, we see Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan, where it was a banger, of course, of what you would think. I mean, what would you think when you think of Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, two technically sound men who have the cardiovascular of tanks? And these guys just did that. They were tanks. Where we saw, of course, Daniel Bryan start to work on Cesaro's left shoulder, and we saw Daniel Bryan's left leg get worked on during the match as he goes for a kick outside the ring where he misses Cesaro and hits the ring post, and Cesaro's working that the whole match. And then ultimately what this comes down to is a pop-up European uppercut from Cesaro, leading into the neutralizer for Cesaro to get the dub. Now for our final match, we see Apollo Crews versus Sami Zayn, where they're talking about it on commentary. Michael Cole saying this is really to set up for who's going to be wrestling Big E next for the IC Championship, where we see Apollo dominate starting off. But the great Liberator ends up taking over, where he gets this great T-bone suplex into the turnbuckle that I liked him doing. And ultimately, what it came down to is Sami Zayn went for a roll-up and got a handful of tights. Referee sees it, so don't count. Apollo Crews goes for a roll-up, handful of tights. Ref don't see it. It counts. Apollo Crews gets the 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn upset, and Big E ain't happy. We see Big E outside the ring, as he's been outside ringside the whole match. My guy got a couch and a midi fridge outside the ring. He's sitting pretty, bro. Homie's sitting pretty. And on top of that, he was talking to he was a part of the commentary too. Big E do it all, boy. So we saw these two get face to face, where Apollo actually reaches and grabs the IC Championship, and Big E ain't happy. He said, "Give it back, bro." So Apollo just tossed it to him, and he like, "Just shine it up for me." And Big E like, "Oh, I'm gonna shine it up for you, but it ain't for you to take home." And we see, as this is going on, Sami Zayn is just outraged that he got cheated once again. And now, for our final angle of the show, we see Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns do this official contract signing for the Universal Championship, where we see now determined it will be a last man standing match, where Adam Pearce is sitting down, and it looks like, of course, you know, he the head of the table. So Paul Heyman takes his chair and takes it to the head of the table. And you wanna know how petty your tribal chief is? He go, "I don't want that chair. I want the chair he's sitting in." So of course, Paul's like, he want that chair. And of course, Jey like, he moving too slow. He said, "Get up, bro. Come on." And so he takes it over to the tribal chief. He sits down at the head of the table like usual. And he sits down, Adam Pearce sits down on the other side of the table. As he looks over the contract one more time, we see Roman Reigns signs the contract. And then we see Adam Pearce sign the contract. But Adam Pearce looks like he up to no good, where he smiles and has a little smirky attitude about himself, and he goes, "I've been waiting on you to sign this all night." So Adam Pearce leaves the ring, and as he's going up the ramp, he tweaks his knee. Or at least he tweaked his knee. So as this is going on, we are informed now that this contract is like every other contract. It is subject to change. And Adam Pearce goes, "I don't think I'm gonna be cleared. And as a WWE official, I will find my replacement. And as a matter of fact, I got the perfect replacement." And we hear the music of Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens didn't sign this contract. So, in case you don't know what all that means, we now officially have at the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in a last man standing match. Yeah, that didn't happen, and Roman ain't happy. But like I told y'all, it was a Smack Taxi show. We had some good stuff going on. Things happen, you know, the wham, you know? But as usual, if you guys like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up right there. And if you really want to enjoy our content and you guys want to see it on a regular basis, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. And if you enjoy it so much you want to tell your friends, go ahead and hit that share thing. It got the arrow that go like this. And of course, if you guys want to just support us, of course, leave comments below. We reply and like every single comment. And we're grateful for you guys. But until next time, I'm Kevin Jones, and that was Wrestling.